Exodus 35. Where was I? Exodus 35, somewhere between 5 and 29. Exodus 36:12, page 97 in the Scriptures, by the Institute for Scriptural Research. "50 loops he made on one curtain, and 50 loops he made on the edge of the end curtain of the second set. The loops held one curtain to another. And he made 50 hooks of gold, and joined the curtains to each other with the hooks, and the dwelling place became one. And he made curtains of goat's hair for the tent over the dwelling place. He made 11 curtains. The length of each curtain was 30 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits, the 11 curtains having one measure. And he joined 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves. And he made 50 loops on the edge of the end curtain in one set, and 50 loops he made on the edge of the curtain of the second set. And he made 50 bronze hooks to join the tent to be one. And he made a covering for the tent of ram's skins dyed red, and a covering of fine leather above that. And for the dwelling place he made boards of acacia wood standing up. The length of each board was 10 cubits, and the width of each board 1.5 cubits. Each board had 2 tenons for binding one to another. So he did to all the boards of the dwelling place. And he made boards for the dwelling place, 20 boards for the south side. And he made 40 sockets of silver to go under the 20 boards, and 2 sockets under each of the boards for its 2 tenons. And for the other side of the dwelling place, to the north side, he made 20 boards, and there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under the one board, and 2 sockets under the other board. And he made 6 boards for the west side of the dwelling place. And he made 2 boards for the 2 back corners of the dwelling place. And they were double beneath. And similarly, they were complete to the top by 1 ring. So he did to both of them for the 2 corners. And there were 8 boards in their silver sockets, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under each of the boards. And he made bars of acacia wood, 5 for the boards on one side of the dwelling place, and 5 bars for the boards on the other side of the dwelling place, and 5 bars for the boards of the dwelling place at the rear westward. And he made the middle bar to pass through the boards from one end to the other. And he overlaid the boards with gold, and their rings he made of gold to be holders for the bars, and overlaid the bars with gold. And he made a veil of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine worked linen, and it was made with cherubim, the work of a skilled workman. And he made 4 columns of acacia wood for it, and overlaid them with gold, with their hooks of gold. And he cast 4 sockets of silver for them. And he made a covering for the tent door of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen made by a weaver, and its 5 columns with their hooks. And he overlaid their tops and their rings with gold, but their 5 sockets were of bronze. And Bezalel made the ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, and a cubit and a half wide, and a cubit and a half high. And he overlaid it with clean gold inside and outside, and made a molding of gold all around it. And he cast 4 rings of gold for its feet, 2 rings on its one side, and 2 rings on its other side. And he made poles of acacia wood, and overlaid them with gold. Overlaid them with gold. And he put the poles into the rings at the sides of the ark to lift the ark. And he made a lid of atonement of clean gold, 2.5 cubits long, and a cubit and a half wide. And he made 2 cherubim of beaten gold. He made them from the 2 ends of the lid of atonement. One cherub at one end on this side, and the other cherub at the other end on that side. He made the cherubim from the lid of atonement from the 2 ends. And the cherubim spread out their wings above and covered the lid of atonement with their wings, with their faces toward each other. The faces of the cherubim were turned toward the lid of atonement. The sentence continues. 1 cherub at one end on this side, and the other cherub at the other end on that side. He made the cherubim from the lid of atonement from the 2 ends. And the cherubim spread out their wings above and covered the lid of atonement with their wings, with their faces toward each other. The faces of the cherubim were turned toward the lid of atonement. And he made the table of acacia wood 2 cubits long, and a cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. He overlaid it with clean gold, and made a molding of gold all around it. And he cast 4 rings of gold for it, and he put the rings on the 4 corners that were at its 4 legs. The rings were next to the rim as holders for the poles to lift the table. And he made the poles of acacia wood to lift the table, and overlaid them with gold. And he made the utensils which were on the table, its dishes, and its cups, and its bowls, and its jars for pouring, of clean gold. And he made the lampstand of clean gold. He made the lampstand of beaten work, its base and its shaft, its cups, its ornamental knobs, and its blossoms were from it. And 6 branches came out of its sides, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. There were 3 cups like almond flowers on one branch, with ornamental knob and blossom, and 3 cups like almond flowers on the other branch, a knob and a blossom. So for the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. And on the lampstand were 4 cups like almond flowers, its knobs and its blossoms, and a knob under the first 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, for the 6 branches coming out. Their knobs and their branches were of it. All of it was one beaten work of clean gold. And he made its 7 lamps, and its snuffers, and its trays of clean gold. He made it of a talent of clean gold, and all its utensils. But he made the incense slaughter place of acacia wood, a cubit long, and a cubit wide, square, and 2 cubits high. Its horns were of it, and he overlaid it with clean gold, its top and its sides all around, and its horns. And he made a molding for it of gold all around it. And he made 2 rings of gold for it under its molding, at its 2 corners on both sides, as holders for the poles with which to lift it. And he made the poles of acacia wood, and overlaid them with gold. And he made the set apart anointing oil, and the clean incense of sweet spices, according to the work of the perfumer. Exodus chapter 38. Sorry for the static, y'all. And he made the slaughter place of ascending offering of acacia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide, square and 3 cubits high. And he made its horns on its 4 corners. The horns were of it, and he overlaid it with bronze. And he made all the utensils for the slaughter place, the pots and the shovels and the basins and the forks and the fire holders. He made all its utensils of bronze. And he made a grating for the slaughter place, a bronze network under its rim midway from the bottom. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 corners of the bronze grating as holders for the poles. And he made the poles of acacia wood, and overlaid them with bronze. And he put the poles into the rings on the sides of the slaughter place, which were to lift it, with which to lift it. He made the slaughter place hollow with boards. And he made the basin of bronze and its stand of bronze from the bronze mirrors of the serving women who did service at the door of the tent of appointment. And he made the courtyard for the south side. The screens of the courtyard were of fine woven linen, 100 cubits long. Their 20 columns and their 20 sockets of bronze. The hooks of the columns and their bands were of silver. And for the north side the screens were 100 cubits long, their 20 columns and their 20 sockets of bronze. The hooks of the columns and their bands were of silver. And for the west side there were screens of 50 cubits, their 10 columns and their 10 sockets. The hooks of the columns and their bands were of silver. And for the east side, eastward, 50 cubits. 15 cubits of screen on the one side with their 3 columns and their 3 sockets, and 15 cubits of screen to the other side of the courtyard gate on this side and that side with their 3 columns and their 3 sockets. All the screens of the courtyard all around were of fine woven linen, and the sockets for the columns were of bronze. The hooks of the columns and their bands were of silver, and the overlay of their tops was of silver, and all the columns of the courtyard had bands of silver. And the covering for the gate of the courtyard was the work of an embroiderer, of blue and purple and scarlet material, and of fine woven linen, and 20 cubits long, and the height along its width was 5 cubits, corresponding to the screens of the courtyard. And the columns were 4, and their sockets of bronze 4. Their hooks were of silver, and the overlay of their tops and their bands was of silver. And all the pegs of the dwelling place and of the courtyard all around were of bronze. These were the appointments of the dwelling place of the witness, which was appointed by the mouth of Moshe for the service of the Levites by the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest, and Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Yehuda, made all that Yahweh had commanded Moshe, and with him Aholiab, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and designer and embroiderer in blue and purple and scarlet material and in fine linen. All the gold prepared for the work, and all the work of the set-apart place, and it was the gold of the wave offering, came to be 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the shekel of the set-apart place. And the silver from the ones counted of the congregation was 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the shekel of the set-apart place. And Becca, half a shekel for a head, according to the shekel of the set-apart place, for everyone passing over. For everyone passing over to those counted from 20 years old and above, for 603,550 men. And 100 talents of silver were for casting the sockets of the set-apart place, and the bases of the veil 100 sockets from the 100 talents, a talent for each socket. And of the 1,775 shekels he made hooks for the columns and overlaid their tops, and made bands for them. And the bronze of the wave offering was 75 talents and 2,400 shekels. And with it he made the sockets for the door of the tent of appointment, and the bronze slaughter place, and the bronze grating for it, and all the utensils for the slaughter place, and the sockets for the courtyard all around, and the bases for the courtyard gate, and all the pegs for the dwelling place, and all the pegs for the courtyard all around. We're gonna stop it right there, and we'll continue in another video. Cheerio. Much love and blessings upon you all. Thank you.